Future, unseen and unpredictable. After the fall, Earth got its greatest decoration by the Mother Nature. For now, no one even remember what was it like before the fall. Was it free to fly in the air, or colonial like here? Anyway, Iron City is a nice place to live, obviously when you have nowhere else to go. But problems always find its way out to your doorsteps. You gotta watch out for the dark corners. Thus, the people of Iron City have one thing to admire in their life their fortune. Their salvation is the existence of the last of the great sky cities, the Zalam. Down here, under the shadows of Zalam, kids playing in the Iron City street are always found kept looking into the sky, making theories of what does it like to breathe up there, what kind of people live up there. I was one of those kids. My name's Hugh, and this is my story. Story of dreams and disappointment. My parents' house was at the edge of the city. My father was a factory labor. With mother and big bro, we were happy and complete, nothing to worry about. Obviously, a child like me took his time to learn we were poor. To make sure our family eats, father used to do extra shifts a lot, sometimes a whole day, sometimes a whole night, and sometimes next day after that too. I was always eagerly waiting for my father to come back home after work, but one day he brought something I wasn't prepared for. In Iron City, almost every person contains some enhancements. Technology made life cheaper down here. People selling their souls for machine, which means you can fill your stomach while working as a flesh and blood here. That's how Big Brother explained me why our father had gotten replaced his right arm. When I saw that thing attached to my father, I ran and went hard under the bed. I was too scared. How could I have accepted my own father being one of those fools in the Iron City who purchased an early grave? But that was just an arm. That doesn't affect your humanity that much, right? Sadly, one day I accidentally discovered my father had already switched his both legs. They were hiding it from me. To fill up our needs, he was making himself empty. It didn't take him long to become a totally replaced cyborg. A machine for factory use. A machine that works. He lived and one day factory replaced him just like any other machine. I should have felt bad, should have done a lot of cries, but somewhere inside my heart, a voice told me that I already lost him a long time ago. 3 days after my father's death, I found my mother lying on the bed unconsciously. She had no sign of will to tolerate this dangerous world anymore. She was still holding the necklace father gave her as a present. Some lucky charm, she said. Didn't work quite well. And that's the end of a chapter. But that's not what really happened. The truth is, after my parents, my brother and his wife were my only family back then. He was a mechanical engineer at one of the factories, and my sister in law was really nice, gentle, and kind. Big brother was really cool. He had twice the curiosity of any ordinary person, a real passion for exploring. He wanted to learn more about Zalam. How did it come into existence? Who built the factory or Iron City? Or for what purpose? One day I asked him why Zalam don't fall over. Big brother said, Zalam is flying in the sky hanging through that pillar. That pillar is extending beyond the atmosphere into the space. The balance of gravity and centrifugal force could keep it from falling down, and there could be another city at the end of the other side. A space city. That was something excitement for a young blood like me. One night, brother jumped out of the bed and said he had decided that he is going to Zalam to solve the mysteries of this world. He made up his mind and started building a massive balloon. Of course, he knew it's a factory violence to build or use any kind of flying device. Even playing with a toy can make your name high in the bounty list. My sister in law, on the other hand, was nervous about leaving her home. She knew it's a suicide. She tried her best to stop brother from doing it. She argued a lot with my brother when I wasn't around. In front of me, they behaved as usual. The day I became 10, Big Brother finally completed the balloon. That day, sister-in-law came to me and asked me to go to market and collect some things. She said we're gonna need them for our travel. I didn't want to, but she insisted. Something was wrong. I was sure of it. When I returned, I found my house was in the fire. Some strange guys were covering my way in. Then suddenly a man came into my sight. A hunter warrior came out from a house with my brother's head. That was when I knew. My sister in law had betrayed my brother. She sold him to a hunter warrior for some kind of reward. She said that was the only way to stop him, the only way to stop my brother from leading us to our doom. She tried to raise me after that, but I couldn't trust her anymore, so I ran away from home. I started hanging with the bad guys, the crowd that was always stealing and killing each other. Then 2 years later, I saw a man selling cheap and affordable human body organs, including my brother's hand. There was no doubt of it. It was my brother for sure. With no thought in my mind, I suddenly asked the shopkeeper to trade me that hand for my own right hand. He went insane after hearing that. Then a limbo stopped in front of me, and a man came out from it. The highest broker of Iron City, the in charge of the motorway game, and the highest authority in factories. The only person in Iron City with connections to Zalam. That was Victor. At the time, I made my name being the guy who collect what it's hard to find. So Vector wanted me to work for him to supply parts for the Motorwall game. In exchange, he promised me to send me up if I gave him 10 million chips, so I started working for him. From that day on, I spent my whole life to earn that one chance to escape from this hell, to find a better place where we can dream free. I met with Tanji and Koyomi few years after that. They were good allies, worthy enough friends in this hopeless city. I used to look down on those non humans with only one part of themselves and obviously have no emotions. That's what I used to think until that day I met her. That day I found the most human person in non human. She changed everything. Moreover, she changed me. She showed me the better place I was always looking for. Only if I had realized that earlier, only if I had listened to her earlier, things could have been different. It wouldn't have to end like that. At least we could have a chance to say goodbye.